First Lady Jill Biden has her work cut out for her at the college where she teaches and at the White House, where her duties take her far and wide.
The role of the First Lady in the United States has changed a lot over the years. Originally, it was mostly about hosting events and supporting the president. But as times have changed, so have the responsibilities of First Ladies. Eleanor Roosevelt was known for her activism, Jacqueline Kennedy focused on the arts and history, and Michelle Obama promoted health and education. However, some First Ladies have been seen as difficult. Recently, the Secret Service called Melania Trump the biggest jerk. Why is that? And which other First Ladies have been considered challenging? Let's explore these details as revealed by the Secret Service. Before diving into these details, let's look back at Melania Trump's early life and her rise to the role of First Lady. Melania Trump, born Melania Naus on April 26, 1970, in Novo Mesto, Yugoslavia, now Slovenia, grew up in a modest setting. Her father, Victor Naus, worked as a chauffeur and later sold car parts, making connections with the Communist Party. Her mother worked as a pattern maker for a children's clothing company. The family lived in a state-run housing complex called Nalia Herova Maroka. Melania has an older sister, Inez, and an older half-brother, Denis Segal, from her father's previous relationship, whom she has never met. Despite being in a communist society that opposed religion, her father secretly had his daughters baptized as Catholics. The family was relatively well off compared to others and enjoyed European vacations. Their apartment had brightly colored walls, which was unusual at the time. As a child, Melania took part in fashion shows and showed an early interest in fashion by customizing her clothes and learning from her mother. She was also a good student and served as the school treasurer. During her teenage years, American culture began to influence her. She admired Ronald Reagan's presidency and was excited when CNN International began broadcasting in 1985. At 15, Melania moved to Ljubljana to attend a secondary school for design and photography, commuting by train each day. After her first year, she and her sister moved to the capital city. She graduated at 19 and briefly attended the Faculty of Architecture and Civil and Geodetic Engineering at the University of Ljubljana, but did not finish her degree. When Melania was 16, Slovenian fashion photographer Stane Jurko noticed her during a school fashion show. Although she initially wanted to be a fashion designer, she decided to pursue modeling. She won a modeling contest with the Italian studio Sanita, which included an offer for a movie role. However, she declined the role after a producer made an unwanted advance. During this time, she changed her name from Melania Naus to Melania Trump. So how did Melania become the American First Lady, and why is she labeled as the biggest jerk? Keep watching to find out. After changing her name to Melania Knaus, she traveled around Europe for modeling and kept in touch only with a few close relatives from Slovenia. In 1992, she was a runner-up in the Jana magazine Look of the Year contest, which led to international modeling contracts. She signed with RVR Reclam in Milan but left after a few months. Melania then spent the next few years modeling across Europe. In 1993, she even did a shoot where she played the first female president of the United States. By the time she was about 23 or 24, her career was going well enough for her to move to Paris, where she lived with her roommate Victoria Silverstead. In Paris and Milan, she worked for various fashion houses. In 1995, she met Paolo Zampoli, a co-owner of Metropolitan Models and a friend of Donald Trump. Zampoli encouraged her to move to the United States and offered to represent her. In 1996, at age 26, Melania moved to Manhattan. Although she was older than most new models, Zampoli helped her settle in by arranging for her to live with photographer Matthew Atanian in Zindorf Towers in Union Square. Her rent was deducted from her pay with Zampoli's agency. Once she arrived in the United States, Melania only visited her home country occasionally. She focused on staying healthy, carefully managing her diet, and avoiding the party scene common among many models. She led a quiet life, going out rarely. In 1997, she appeared in a provocative photo shoot for Max, a French men's magazine, alongside another model. The photos, taken by Alexandra Al de Basseville, were meant to boost her profile, but the work was unpaid and mostly forgotten until the New York Post published them in 2016. Initially, Melania's travel visa did not allow her to work, but she took on 10 modeling jobs that earned her about $20,000. Later, she obtained an H-1B visa, which allowed her to work legally. Her first big break was posing for a Camel cigarette ad by Ellen von Unwerth, which appeared on a Times Square billboard and in Rolling Stone magazine. The ad benefited from a law that required cigarette ads to feature people over 25, which helped Melania stand out among younger models. After her roommate Matthew T. moved out, Melania moved to an apartment off Park Avenue. What else happened in Melania's life? How did she start the relationship that led to becoming the First Lady? Keep watching to find out. In September 1998, Melania was introduced to Donald Trump by Zampoli at a party. Trump was with his date, Selena Middlefart, and when he asked Melania for her phone number, she asked for his instead. Trump impressed her by giving multiple personal numbers rather than just an office number. Melania later explained that she wanted his numbers to make sure she wasn't just one of many women he called. The exact details of their meeting are unclear, but it is often said to have been at the Kit Kat Club. A week later, Melania called Trump, and they went on a date. She acted indifferent to his advances, knowing it would make him more interested. Trump's personality was similar to her father's, and they were close in age and appearance. When they began dating, Melania had access to Trump's book, The Art of the Comeback, which outlined his views on relationships. On September 8th, Melania held a press conference to talk about her career, claiming she was among the top 50 highest-paid models and would star in a movie with Mickey Rourke. She aimed to boost her profile for a cigarette ad campaign, but this effort did not succeed. This was unusual for Melania, who typically kept a low profile, and reporters could not verify her claims. The Trumps have said they met at New York Fashion Week shortly after this press conference, but some insiders believe rumors about their relationship were already spreading. Melania and Donald Trump's first relationship lasted only a few weeks because Trump had to leave her after meeting his ex-girlfriend Kara Young at Trump Tower. However, they reunited the following week. Dating Trump brought Melania new career opportunities thanks to his fame and connections. At the time, Trump was seen as more respectful toward women than many others in the supermodel scene. In 1999, their relationship gained media attention after an interview with Howard Stern, where they answered provocative questions. Trump admired Melania's beauty, but kept her out of his business due to past issues with his first wife, who had an executive role. When Trump announced his run for the Reform Party presidential nomination on October 7, 1999, Melania supported him strongly. Asked by the New York Times about her potential role as First Lady, she said she would be traditional, like Betty Ford or Jackie Kennedy. This sparked media interest, with tabloids speculating about a model becoming First Lady. Melania was among the first models signed by Trump Model Management when it was created in February 1999. Over the next few months, she appeared in various magazines and ads arranged by Trump's associates. She was featured in the February Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, posing in a bikini with a large inflatable whale, organized by Antoine Verglas, who was connected to Trump through his associate Paolo Zampoli. Verglas also asked Melania to pose nude in a Bond girl theme. Trump also pushed for her inclusion in a GQ magazine spread with photos taken on his Boeing 727, though his involvement was not publicly known at the time. Melania later appeared in another provocative shoot set in a mock Oval Office. By January 2000, reports surfaced that she and Trump had broken up, though accounts varied on who ended it. Their joint photos and publicity were quickly updated to show the split, but they stayed in touch and reconciled a few months later. In 2001, Melania got her green card, which gave her permanent residency in the United States. The couple moved in together at Trump Tower in 2002. What did this relationship lead to, and how did the changes happen? Keep watching to find out. On April 26, 2004, Donald Trump proposed to Melania Naus on her birthday. They were heading to the Met Gala, and Trump felt ready to marry because Melania had never pressured him about marriage, and he felt she had positively influenced his success. Unlike his previous wives, Melania preferred to stay out of the spotlight and avoid public drama. She was confident and supportive in a quiet way and agreed to sign his prenuptial agreement without any issues. A few months before their wedding, Melania traveled to Paris with Anna Wintour and Andre Leontali to pick out her wedding dress. She chose a dress by John Galliano and appeared on the cover of Vogue wearing it just before the wedding. Trump and Melania were married on January 22, 2005, at Bethesda by the Sea Church in Palm Beach, Florida. Their reception was held at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, which Melania planned with event planner Preston Bailey. The wedding was attended by many celebrities, including musicians, athletes, media executives, and TV personalities. Melania's only bridesmaid was her sister Inez, who had moved to New York to be closer to her. Melania took care of most wedding details but didn't agree with Trump's idea to broadcast the event on NBC. The Trumps had three main homes: Trump Tower in New York, Trump National Golf Club Bedminster in New Jersey, and Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Melania had a private spa built on the top floor of Trump Tower for herself. They didn't spend much direct time together, preferring to live close but not necessarily together all the time. Trump liked this setup because he was busy with work and didn't want to focus on their relationship at home. Despite the transactional nature of their relationship, Melania accepted it and didn't see herself as a gold digger. At events, Melania often made a brief appearance with Trump before going back to their private residence. She noted that Trump never learned her native language, which she accepted because she didn't want to be a demanding wife. After marrying Trump, Melania became the stepmother to his 4 children: Donald Jr., Eric and Ivanka from his first marriage to Ivana Zelikova, and Tiffany from his second marriage to Marla Maples. Melania formed a close bond with Tiffany, who was 6 when she started dating Trump, and ensured Tiffany felt included with her step-siblings. When Melania got pregnant, it attracted a lot of media attention. She even appeared on the cover of Vogue for the second time, wearing a bikini and an open coat. During her pregnancy, Melania spent time with her sister, who had moved to New York, and her parents, who visited often. She managed the construction of a nursery in Trump Tower and had a baby shower at the FAO Schwartz toy store, asking for the toys and gifts to be donated to a children's hospital. Melania and Donald Trump had their son, Baron William Trump, on March 20, 2006. Melania picked Baron's middle name, while Donald chose his first name. Donald had previously used Baron as a pseudonym when posing as his own public relations agent. After Baron was born, Melania focused more on him and attended fewer events with Donald. Donald had told Melania that he wouldn't be very involved in raising their child, which Melania accepted, saying she didn't want him changing diapers or putting Baron to bed. She chose to raise Baron herself and only occasionally used nannies during his early years. This shift in focus meant Donald started seeing other supermodels, which made Melania uncomfortable. However, she wasn't aware of the many women who later claimed to have had affairs with him. After becoming a Trump, Melania largely stayed out of the public eye, except for some charity work and an appearance in an Aflac commercial. Melania was the one who finally persuaded Donald to run for president in 2016. She told him he should either run or stop talking about it. When the campaign began, she made it clear that she wouldn't participate unless she wanted to, which meant she had a smaller role than most spouses of candidates. She said she stayed home to take care of their son Baron, but the campaign still affected her. She had to deal with security issues and couldn't post online as she used to, becoming less active on social media. Despite doubts from many, including those close to Donald, Melania believed he would win. She advised him to trust his instincts and be honest, even though she didn't like his use of foul language. Throughout the campaign, she kept a close eye on everything from home, tracking polls, and watching Donald's interactions with his opponents. She frequently talked to him on the phone, especially after rallies, giving him her honest opinion about how he did. Finally, on January 20th, 2017, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States. After Donald Trump became president, Melania chose to stay in Manhattan with their son, Barron, so he could finish the school year there. This also gave Barron time to slowly adjust to the idea of moving to the White House. During this period, Melania updated her prenuptial agreement with Donald to make sure it reflected their new situation and to secure Barron's inheritance. Melania became the first naturalized citizen to serve as First Lady, and the second First Lady born outside the U.S., after Louisa Adams, who was born in England. Melania speaks several languages, including English, Italian, French, and German, but she is fluent only in English and her native Slovene. For other languages, she relies on a translator. She was also the first Catholic to live in the White House since Jacqueline Kennedy, making her the second Catholic First Lady in U.S. history. Melania's initial absence from the White House led to rumors that Ivanka Trump, Donald's daughter, might take on some of the First Lady's responsibilities. This created some tension between Melania and Ivanka as they began overlapping in roles usually managed by the First Lady. For example, when Ivanka arranged a screening of Finding Dory at the White House, Melania made it clear that access to the residential areas required her permission. Being First Lady brought new challenges for Melania, including speaking on serious issues like immigration and having less control over her media image, which was a change from her former career as a model. When the Trump administration launched its White House website, it included Melania's biography, which mentioned her former jewelry business. Critics argued that this might be an attempt to use government resources to promote her business, even though the business had already shut down. In February, Melania filed a libel lawsuit against the Daily Mail after the newspaper falsely claimed in 2016 that she had worked for an escort service. Initially, she sought damages for lost career opportunities but later changed her focus to emotional distress. On March 8, 2017, when asked why she expected career opportunities as First Lady, Melania hosted her first White House event, a luncheon for International Women's Day. She shared her experiences as a female immigrant and spoke about the importance of gender equality and education. In May 2017, during a visit to Vatican City, Pope Francis blessed Melania's rosary beads, and she laid flowers at a statue of the Madonna at Bambino Gesù Children's Hospital. That same month, Melania faced her first major public controversy during Trump's visit to Israel. As Donald Trump walked with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he forgot Melania was beside him, leaving her to fall behind. When Trump reached out to take her hand, she, feeling embarrassed, pushed it away. This moment caught significant media attention and highlighted her independent spirit. Melania Trump gained a reputation as a difficult First Lady because she was very private and independent. Unlike past First Ladies who were more public, Melania kept a low profile. This made it hard for staff to predict her actions or align them with the White House's plans. Her independence was sometimes seen as distant or uncooperative, making it tough to connect her work with the administration's goals. She preferred to work with a small, trusted group of advisors, which added to her difficult reputation. Many staff members had limited access to her, leading to communication problems and misunderstandings. The small team that did work closely with her had to meet her specific preferences and high standards, which could be demanding. The frequent turnover of staff in the East Wing suggested that many found the work environment challenging. One example of her difficult behavior was her reported clash with White House Chief of Staff John Kelly. Melania reportedly demanded the firing of Deputy National Security Advisor Mira Ricardel after a seating dispute during a trip to Africa. This rare public involvement showed her willingness to use her influence behind the scenes. Another incident that highlighted the challenges in working with Melania was her controversial fashion choice, a jacket with the words, "I really don't care, do you?" worn during a visit to a migrant child detention center in Texas. The jacket caused widespread outrage and confusion, with critics accusing Melania of being insensitive. Staff members were surprised by her choice and struggled to handle the public relations crisis that followed. When Melania later explained that the jacket was a message to the media and not to the children, it did little to ease the backlash. Her decision to stay in New York City after the inauguration also caused problems. Melania chose to remain there until her son Barron finished the school year, which made logistics and security more difficult for the staff. Being away from the White House created extra challenges in coordinating her activities and fitting her into the administration's schedule. Over time, administration staff grew frustrated with her absence, as it seemed to suggest marital issues and kept her from being a calming presence for the president. Her stay in New York also upset locals because of the costs and traffic problems caused by Secret Service protection. The Secret Service had to frequently travel to New York, which was a challenge, though Melania was used to having security due to her husband's team. Her Secret Service code name was Muse, while the president's was Mogul. Despite these challenges, Melania brought a unique viewpoint and focus to her role. Her emphasis on children's issues, though sometimes controversial, highlighted important social problems. Her wish to keep her life private and maintain a sense of normalcy for her son was understandable from a personal point of view. Melania's time as First Lady came with many difficulties which contributed to her reputation as one of the harder First Ladies to manage. Her independent nature, specific preferences, and controversies made her a complex and often challenging figure for her staff. But was Melania Trump really the most difficult First Lady to work with? Let's compare her to some of her predecessors. Hillary Clinton faced similar criticism during her time as First Lady from 1993 to 2001. Many Americans were uneasy with her active role in politics and policy, questioning her influence since she wasn't an elected official. This involvement made her stand out from many First Ladies before her. Hillary's strong-willed approach contributed to her reputation as being difficult to work with, especially among White House staff and Secret Service agents. One of the most controversial parts of her time as First Lady was her deep involvement in policymaking. She led the task force on national healthcare reform, which put her in direct conflict with many political figures and interest groups. Despite her good intentions, her efforts faced strong opposition and ultimately failed. The ambitious nature of the project, along with Hillary's direct and sometimes confrontational style, caused tension with both supporters and critics. Many found her unwilling to compromise and difficult to negotiate with. Hillary's interactions with the Secret Service were a key factor in her tough reputation. Some agents described her as curt and dismissive. In Ronald Kessler's book, *The First Family, Detail*, there are accounts of Hillary using profanity with one agent and criticizing another for his cheap suit. Whether these were isolated incidents or part of a larger pattern, they contributed to the image of a demanding and harsh personality. The book even suggests that being assigned to her detail was sometimes considered a punishment. Hillary's strong personality and high expectations also affected her relationships with White House staff. Her attention to detail and high standards, though valuable, made her a tough boss. Staff members often felt intense pressure to meet her expectations, which could be overwhelming. Jill Biden, the current First Lady, has seen a rise in criticism, leading to lower approval ratings and a reputation for being difficult to work with. Her time in this role has been unique due to her ongoing career as a teacher and her active involvement in various initiatives, which have created challenges for her staff and the administration. One key factor in this perception is Jill Biden's decision to keep teaching at Northern Virginia Community College while serving as First Lady. While many praise her dedication to education, others criticize this choice, saying it might split her focus and make it harder for her to fulfill traditional First Lady duties. Her staff has had to juggle the complexities of coordinating her teaching schedule with her public responsibilities. Furthermore, Her strong support for community colleges and military families has sometimes led to conflicts with political opponents, drawing criticism. Efforts to secure more funding for community colleges and her involvement in education policy have met resistance, adding to tensions in the political scene. Critics claim that her focus on these issues may go beyond the traditional First Lady role. While her supporters see her as using her platform effectively, reports of high expectations and demanding standards within her team have added to the view that she can be a challenging figure. Despite these difficulties, she remains committed to her causes and continues to be a prominent public figure. Who do you think should be called the biggest jerk among the First Ladies? Should it be Melania? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe.